Okay, 10 p.m. here in Norway, and probably some other time where you are. Welcome to Just Meditate, our bi weekly Thursday session where we talk about meditation techniques. Um, People can ask about meditation, especially setting up a daily meditation practice. We mainly do or practice heart focused meditations, and it's also something we are going to do today. Oliver, good to see you on Fireside. And hello, everyone on Instagram as well. And good to see you, Irene and Fox and Suna on Second Life. So, this show is also for asking questions. And before we started, Fox had a question like, what do you mean with just meditate? Do you mean it's like shikantaza? I've never heard of it before, but what I always think is very interesting, people asking about certain styles of meditation. And I've been practicing meditation over 20 years and I've been studying different styles of meditation. And every year there are new styles that I never heard of. But when you dive into it, it is all basically the same. The goal is the same. You get into a meditative state with all its benefit it has. And of course, you might not like the style of meditation that, for example, I prefer, which is heart focused meditation, which is a more scientific way of doing meditation. It's based on science because it's based on our physiology and especially our nervous system and self regulation. That might not attract you. It might be difficult for you, for some people, to focus on heart focused meditation and heart focused breathing, especially. That can be due to several things. That can be due to maybe trauma that someone has experienced. It can be other things. And therefore, it's nice to have different ways of getting into meditative state, which all have their special names. Um, and that's all fine. Hello, Kari. Hello, Equivocal on Instagram. Good that you joined. We are about to get started. Um, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, we'll be going on with the theme for today, which is overwhelming emotions or getting the feeling of being overwhelmed and what you can do with it. Against it, how does it work? So if there are not any other questions about meditation or your meditation practice, your daily meditation practice, we are continuing with the theme for today. So, overwhelming feelings or feelings of getting overwhelmed, it happens to everybody at least once, if not several times during a year or a lifetime. And it's natural. Sometimes we get in situations where so many things are coming to us. It can be at work. And most people that I speak with or talk to, they experience this in their work. Hello, Les. Welcome. And it is not overwhelming, like I'm getting overwhelmed by something, but really like an overload of information, of things to do that it gives a stress reaction in your body. And that reaction from your nervous system can give the feeling of being overwhelmed. It's especially visible in our heart rate variation or heart rate variability, which becomes haywire. Instead of that, it goes slowly up and down in a rhythmic fashion. It goes all over the place because our nervous system gets overloaded, and it reflects itself in our heart. You will also most often notice when you focus on it, when you recognize it, that your breathing becomes very rapid or at least shallow, that you can't do deep breathing anymore. There's a signs of a stress reaction in your body, and can give you the feeling of being overwhelmed because there's so much coming towards you, so much to uh, you try to hold your focus on so many different things together, try to remember things, that it all becomes overwhelming. It can also be overwhelmed by just one thing, of course, something that is big, that really puts you off guard, and off focus. That can also give an overwhelming feeling. Um, it is actually a good thing because it's just a sign from your body that, okay, now it is too much for me. I need to maybe take a break. I need to sit down. I need to calm down and put one and one together and get things straightened out before I continue. If that's not possible, you maybe might want to think talking to, for example, your boss, or talking to someone, and make sure that these situations don't happen anymore, or at least get less. Um, when I teach these techniques, especially heart-focused meditations or heart-focused breathing, which are self-regulation techniques to calm down, to settle down, to create a baseline for yourself again and continue from that. When I do that for companies, and I've done it for um, the company I work for as well, to my colleagues, make sure that your boss that asks for people to do such kinds of training or presentations or workshops, that they don't do it with the intention to increase performance of you as a employee. Um, that they do it for the right reasons, that they do it for their employees to learn how to self-regulate, to settle down and get into a state of coherence, instead of that they do it and want us to teach employees to increase performance. Because these self-regulation techniques are capable of increasing your performance, making you more resilient, but it should not be the reason why you in a workplace would want to teach this. You want to teach this and you want to learn this because you sometimes get into situations where you get overwhelmed, where there's too much stress, where you then have a technique to take care of yourself. And that's the point. So these techniques are for taking care of yourself in situations where you get overwhelmed and stressed out. If you experience all the time that your work or whatever situation you are in continuously overwhelms you, stresses you out, and it is the same for your colleagues, for your friends in the same situation, then there's something with the environment. Then it's not just you, it's just you are in an unhealthy environment and you can't self-regulate yourself out of that. That's not the purpose of these techniques. So what we're going to do is a short heart-focused session for self-regulation. What happens when we do these techniques? Well, our heart rate calms down. It becomes very coherent and balanced. And this also balances our nervous system because our heart is connected to our nervous system, especially to our brain. There's 5 times more information going from our heart to our brain than the other way around, which means that the heart gives a lot of information to our brain. If our nervous system is out of order, if we are in a dysregulated state, that information doesn't reach our brain, or it reaches our brain, but our brain is also dysregulated and doesn't do much with it. So the signals coming from our heart aren't being processed in the right way. And it's not only from the heart, that signals from all our systems in our body, from our kidneys, from our liver. All our organs give information to our brain, and our brains reacts to that by regulating our physiology. So when our nervous system is in a state of stress, our brain creates a physiology that corresponds, or sends signals out that creates a physiology that corresponds to that stress. And often this is releasing adrenaline, making sure that you get into that fight or flight mode for survival. By breathing techniques and heart-focused breathing, we can push the other way around. We can calm our nervous system down, get our organs and our physiology in tune, and increase that flow of information through our nervous system that reaches our brain and get a more balanced state altogether. And practicing that will also increase our resilience. So the nice effect of that, which most likely managers and bosses find attractive with these techniques, is that it increases people's resilience. So they get more resilience against stress and illness as well. But still, make sure that your boss, if he or she does invite a coach for these techniques over to your company, make sure that they do it not only to increase resilience amongst their employees, but that they do that out of care for their employees, that they do it to make sure that people can self-regulate, know the techniques, to make sure that when they get in an unfortunate situation, that they feel overwhelmed or get stressed out, that they can self-regulate, not to increase performance, but just to take care of their own health and their own state of being. Okay, so let's get started. I was fiddling around here with a device that is, if you want to monitor your heart rate variation, buy one of those devices. You can. This is a device produced by the HeartMath Institute that measures your heart rate variability. It gives direct feedback on how your heart rate variability is. It comes with a thingy, a little ear plug that you put on your ear, and it measures the blood flow through your body, especially the pressure waves of your blood, which of course are caused by your heart pumping blood around. This gives very useful information. You have these devices. I know that the Dutch police has used those a lot. You can also buy the sensor alone and plug it in your phone, or use a Bluetooth connection to your phone with some software that will also monitor your heart rate variability. So that's some form of biofeedback that gives you information how your heart is doing and how your nervous system is behaving. So if you want more feedback, if you want to know, am I doing these techniques correctly, you can buy such devices to get some feedback on how you are doing. I've used them myself as well with clients, just to give them an idea of what they're doing actually, because it's very visible and visual. The moment they start to self-regulate and change their state of being, they see it in a matter of seconds in their heart rate variation. So that's a very nice way to actually show your clients as well that what they are doing is actually working. So that they don't sit there and breathe and thinking, am I doing it right or wrong or whatever. So that biofeedback is a very nice start. Okay, let's get started. Let's do it ourselves. By the way, many of those new smartwatches also have heart rate variability measurements. I think the Apple smartwatch has it. Okay, find a comfortable position. Make sure you have good enough support and just follow along with my guidance. This is just an easy self-regulating technique, not any deep meditation. Okay. So when you are in a situation where you feel overwhelmed, feel free to take a break. Invite yourself to take a break. You are allowed to get away from the mayhem And you can do that by going to somewhere else, or you can do that by just sitting down. Sitting down, and you can close your eyes give just to make sure that you get less impulses from outside. And you can straight away focus on your heart with your eyes closed. Just focus on your heart area. And if you find it difficult focusing on your heart area, focus on your tummy, for example. And if you don't like focusing on your body at all, focus on the ground under your feet. But most people can focus on a body part, or at least a tummy or their heart. So I want to invite you to focus on your heart right now. And I hope that feels okay for you. You can help by putting your hand on your chest. Just try that out. Put your hand on your chest right there where your heart is. That increases the focus on your heart. And now imagine that you are breathing through your heart. Just imagine it. It's impossible physically to breathe through your heart, but just imagine that the air you breathe in goes into your heart. And as you breathe out, that it goes out of your heart, out through your mouth again. And breathe in, into your heart. And out through your heart. And just notice how that feels. Calm, slow, deep breaths in and out through your heart. Just notice how that feels. Keep breathing through your heart. I want to invite you to settle down there, just to find a comfortable place as you breathe through your heart. And to make things even better, you can think back about a time in your life where you felt joy, appreciation, or gratitude, or care, or compassion. It could be the care you feel for a pet or loved one. As you breathe through your heart, try to relive that moment where you felt joy, appreciation, care, compassion, gratitude. Try to relive that moment inside of you as you breathe through your heart. And try to make that moment, that inner experience, as real as possible as you breathe through your heart. You might even notice your body reacting to that inner experience. Maybe you notice a warmth going through your body. Maybe you notice a smile on your face. It's just your body reacting to that inner experience. And you will notice after practicing for a while, the more you are able to create that inner experience as real as possible, the stronger your body reacts to it. You can't help it, but your body will react to that. And again, notice how you feel. Breathing through your heart. And now after you created that inner experience inside of you, can you imagine how that will work if you feel overwhelmed? And you notice that you feel overwhelmed. And you just settle down, sit down somewhere, close your eyes for a moment, focus on your heart, and breathe for a minute or two, three through your heart. Focusing on your heart, focusing on your breath and breathing through your heart. Very quickly balances and settles down your nervous system again into a baseline. Very good. Now when you feel ready, you can just open your eyes again and get back to the present moment. That's just a quick way of self-regulating, dealing with a sudden rush of stress or feeling overwhelmed by something. And again, it's not a bad thing, it's just your nervous system reacting, telling you that, hey, this is a bit too much for me right now. And just settle down. And make sure that if this is, for example, at the workplace, that this isn't like the tradition that everybody is overwhelmed and stressed out all the time. Especially if then your employer wants you to learn these techniques, make also sure that your employer does do that out of care for you, that you learn a tool to self-regulate, instead of that he or she is teaching this because they want you to be more resilient and and be able to cope with even more stress over time. That's not the deal. That's not the deal with these kinds of techniques. Okay. If you want to comment about your experience doing this, I hope you felt the difference. Maybe you were already calm before you started this technique, but you might notice more balance right now. And try it out. Try it out when you are noticing you are in such a situation. Riemel says helps always. That's true. Yeah. Even just focusing on your breath and lower the pace of your breath and breathing deeper already does a lot. Doing focused breathing through your heart helps even more. Creating an inner experience of joy, appreciation, gratitude, care, compassion, any of those or all together, gets you in a completely different state, which benefits your physiology and your immune system again. But you can keep it with just breathing through your heart. I also want to encourage you to make this a habit of doing every morning, breathing through your heart, getting a state of being of gratitude. Maybe you want to radiate out that the day is going well. Just set that intention for the day. And it also helps a lot. And by practicing heart-focused breathing every morning, you also notice that this is a kind of a mindfulness technique. You will also notice that during the day, when you get triggered by something, for example, you become overwhelmed by something, that you notice it much sooner. Like, oh, now I'm getting into a situation where I'm going to get overwhelmed or feel overwhelmed or stressed out, or when I want, or where I get angry or frustrated. It gives you this little moment before you go on autopilot and react to that trigger. It gives you that little moment where you can pause and make another decision and say, okay, maybe getting angry or frustrated isn't the right thing to do right now for me or my environment. And I'm going to just sit down, breathe a couple of times, and then continue again. Okay, so I hope that helped, that you have a little technique now that you want to try. Again, try it every morning just to set your intention and your state of being for the day. But you can also use this short technique straight through your heart, breathing through your heart whenever you feel stressed out, overwhelmed, frustrated, etc. We'll be back again on Monday with our Love Your Love Muscle session. More heart-focused living then. Theme for then, I'm not sure yet. Maybe we have a guest, if she is able to come online and talking about her project. If you want to be a guest online and talk about your project, your business, what you put your heart into, feel free to contact me, and you can come and I can interview you, and you can talk about your project, and maybe other people want to support you that way. In these sessions, Love Your Love Muscle, we also do intention sessions on request. So if you know someone, or maybe yourself, you want us to set the intention for, maybe you have someone or you know someone that is ill and could use some extra intention, feel free to contact me as well, and we'll make that work. We had some lovely intention sessions in the past with good effect. Thank you for joining today. Have a wonderful rest of your day and evening. Take good care, be safe, and namaste.